here is my ID. We have Courtney, my mom, Colin, and my brother down at the bottom. So, to start off my speech, I am going to be talking about how to change a tire. And I feel like that's something that everybody should know if they own a car or are driving a car. It's even useful for your friends, as Courtney would know, because she did have a flat tire and she did not know how to change one, so that is why she is here right now. So the first reference that I used was a YouTube video, which I feel like is easily obtainable to anybody that obviously has a phone, which I feel like is great. I mean, I feel like I learn better from videos anyways, someone showing me how to do it. So the first thing that he talked about was making sure you have all the correct tools, a lug wrench or a tire iron and a jack stand to be able to get your car up. It's always good to have a buddy there to help you. I personally cannot take off a tire by myself, but anyways, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to loosen all of the lug nuts with the tire still on the ground, and then once you get all those loose, you're going to stick the jack stand underneath and jack the car all the way up as far as it can go. And then in a star pattern, you're going to take the rest of those lug nuts off, and then you just pull the tire off, and then you kind of just retrace the steps. You put the new tire back on, put those lug nuts on, and a star pattern, and then you're good to go. So the next reference that I used was my dad, and I had asked him a couple questions just about changing your tire. And so the first question I asked were what are the 3 most important things to remember to do or to have when you're changing a tire? And the first thing he said was to check the spare tire's air, and I feel like that's something that not a lot of people obviously think of because they think that they have their spare, it's good to go, it's ready to use when they need it. But if it's sitting there for a long time, or maybe I had a Jeep Wrangler and so the tire obviously sat on the back, had a couple people rear end me and hit that tire, so who knows. So it's always good to check your tire's air before replacing it because you don't want to put another faulty tire on your car. The next thing he said were to obviously make sure you have the tools you need: a lug nut, a lug wrench, and a jack stand, which I feel like most people can have a tire iron in their car and obviously their spare tires, so they're good to go on that. And then I had also asked him how to tell if your tire is on there correctly, how to know that you did it correctly. And he said it's pretty easy, just make sure the tire is straight on and that it's not wobbly. And you want to make sure you do this while it's still up in the jack stand, that way you don't have to crank it all the way back up and fix it. And of course you don't want to drive off and have your tire be all wobbly and fall off while you're driving. And then the last question I asked him was how often or how soon after you replace that tire should you put a new one on, and not just have the spare on. And he said as soon as possible, or you can drive on it for a couple hours. My third and final reference that I used was the car's owner manual. I think everybody's car's owner manual obviously has lots of information provided in it, but I'm going to be honest, I never really checked in there to see if it, never really read through owner's manuals, but it does have a section in there about how to change your tire, and it gives pretty detailed instructions. And I lost my train of thought. It gives you pretty detailed instructions, and then it also gives you some pretty cool things about how to check your tire pressure if you don't have it automatically in your car. Another thing that the video also mentioned was some cool things about safety and making sure that you're safe while changing your tire. So one thing that I thought that he did that was cool was when he took that spare tire off, the one that was flat or faulty, he actually stuck it underneath the car, just in case that jack stand were to come out from under the car for any reason and you were underneath the car. It would save you from getting crushed. And then another thing that you should obviously check for is if you are changing a tire on the side of the road, say you're on the highway and your friend's tire decides to burst, make sure you pull off in a safe part of the road and have your hazards on. And there's always, like I said, it's always good to have people there with you to help you. And then, if Courtney's friends would have heard this speech, they could have known to look in their car's manual instead of having their friend come and help them. So, yes, this concludes my speech on how to change a tire. Okay, I hope that recorded, otherwise